Okay, so this is going to be the final video, and this is going to be kind of a catch-all things that we haven't covered already. So stuff like enhance stuff that you can do to enhance the synthesizer, also different modulators that you can use to do weird and wild stuff to the sound, and other kind of controls and extra bells and whistles that you can do to add on to your synth. So where shall we start, Aaron?
Oh man. Well, let's. I'm going to echo what you just said, even though it's totally not needed. But the idea is, right, you've got your synth, you've got it making the sounds that you want, it's mixing properly, and maybe you step back and you go, what else? What else can I add? What else can I do? What else is common, for synths to do and to add? And a lot of this boils down to mods, like modifying the parameters in real time. And also, one type of mod really is an LFO. So you can take an LFO, low frequency oscillator, like a sine wave, and you can repurpose that to move one of your parameters. So I can give you an example of that, and then we can kind of talk about more advanced ones.
Great.
Sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great.
All right. So here we have like some automation, just to find something that's easy to listen to, easy to hear. Let's change our bit crusher mix. So we have a bit crusher on this, which is the fuzziness there. I'm going to change a few other parameters just so we can. Oh yeah, you can already hear it. So you hear the white noise going. Let's make the bit crusher much more apparent, and then we'll really be able to hear it. Right? So It's another way to like modify the sound after the fact. It's important to make sure that you get your wave generators or your samples, whatever you're going with for generation. It's important to get those right. But it's just as important that after the fact, you can add chorus, you can add vibrato, you can add tremolo, you can add a bit crusher, you can put a delay on there, all these other things. Also, because it's after they've been mixed, it's at a different place in the signal chain, so it kind of gives you additional depth, gives you another place where you can change things in a creative way. Okay, so that's, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Different synths approach this different ways. But this idea of taking a parameter and moving it with some sort of LFO or with some sort of mod. So the other example of that is moving it. Let's do, so the most common example is velocity, right? We've all heard about like synths. At some point, they started adding velocity sensitivity. Velocity is how hard you hit the key, right? And if you hit it lightly, you want it to be quieter than if you hit it very loud. So let's see if we can do that. I have some other things on there affecting it, but you can hear that the volume's changing. So one of the first simplest mods that almost every synth has is modifying the volume based on how hard you hit the key, right? You can also modify the attack speed or modify other things like that with how hard you hit the key, and that can do a lot to change the sound. There's more. Oh, there's your dog. More advanced modern synths. At some point, they started adding Aftertouch. So Aftertouch is like you've hit the key, and now you can like push it or like lay off or whatever else. This particular synth doesn't have Aftertouch, but this one does.
Yeah.
So we can add, I think I added volume to it here. What's your dog's name?
Toast. Let's pull her
you
up.
Tell him Toast.
I'm pulling her up here. There she is.
Oh, I like it.
This is the first time Toast made it.
Toast likes it. Let's get rid of that. Tell me about it, Toast.
I'm taking the toy away from her. This is the culprit right
here. So at some point synth started adding like Aftertouch and all these cool things so you could like push. And then of course your company, Rolly, does these type of synths that now have like X and Y pad dimensionality. So in this case, let me just check. Okay, yeah, right here. Reverb and chorus come in with the Y. So if I'm playing down here, there's no reverb and chorus. So I'm playing up here, you can hear a lot of reverb, right? And you can see it move on the screen there. That's another example of like, we want to modify parameters, right? So just modding things in real time, like, you know, for that matter, even just like a keyboard with a bunch of knobs on it, you want to be able to map everything and mod it. But usually mods are a little more in depth than just that kind of MIDI mapping.
Cool.
So that's mods and automation. It's important to kind of mention too, just that like effects are important. If you've got your synth and it's looking really good, figure out a way to get like 3 or 4 effects that you can have in a chain. So you can add a little reverb, add a compressor, add, you know, things like that. But those are just like finishing touches, you know, like the hard stuff really is the generation.
That's great. Yeah, I think you've covered everything. I don't know if there's
We're there.
Yeah, I think we're there.
Let's go get a beer.
Yeah, time for a beer. I'm not really a beer drinker. I'm more of a cocktail person. But yeah, thanks a lot, Aaron, for covering for spending the Friday evening discussing synths and building blocks, and this has been great. And I hope people have found this really useful. And if you have, be sure to give us like and follow Aaron on StageCraft Software on Twitter. So I got it right this time. Normally,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, follow Aaron and check out his synths. So this is actually a synth that Aaron has built himself. So so be sure to check him out. StageCraft Software. And with that, we're signing off, and we will see you next time.